at some time you're going to need to write functions without return values. And why would you need to write functions without return values? And basically, yeah, when you do write a function without return values, what should it possibly do and what should it possibly not do, right? Predominantly, functions without return values all have side effects, all right? And they can tend to be like button clicks or touches, depending upon which device you're on. It tends to be like save something to the database, update this, update that, do this and do that. And you don't predominantly see what actually happens. You might like see an alert or something, or a toast coming on the screen, or something incrementing, or you might see something visual to say, hey, the button was clicked. But what actually happened in the background, you don't tend to see. So within inside of those button clicks or touches, there tends to be some mutation going on. Some data has been updated, it has changed, or there's been a synchronous code being sent off. There's been a network request, an HTTP request, or a database transaction, or there's been something being done. Maybe you opened up another a part of the app, or you've just done something. So this is really what you've got to think about, is whenever you see a function, and let's just call it do action here, that takes no parameters and doesn't have a return value. Well, really, you know, the parameters are more about configuration, but it's all about the return type. If there's no return type and it's of type void, then this normally has side effects, okay? This normally does something, and functions without return values are very difficult to test. So if you ever write a function without a return type and a void, it's normally going to have side effects. It's normally going to mutate something. It's normally going to do some form of asynchronous code. So try to always keep these functions as short as possible. And if there is something in that code that has a return value or do something, try and wrap that with inside of another function and do something else, and maybe this returns a string, and we just return some random string, and try and move this. So say something equals do something else. Try and move that one body of that one's code to another function that has a return value, because this can be tested at other times. Okay, so this is all I've really got to say, is that functions that without return values, they may or may not have parameters, that they will always have the return type of void. You don't need to declare the void return type, return value, okay? But one thing I've got to tell you is they will have side effects, and functions that don't have return value, predominantly 99.99999% of the time, are impure functions, right? You want to have functions that are pure. Your main aim is always to have a function that is pure. No matter how many times you call a function with the same parameters, it always gives exactly the same result. So when writing functions without return values, all right, try to always remember that if you call it time and time again and it mutates something, right, or it does something that has a side effect, this is not a pure function, and it's nearly impossible to test, all right? With that said, this was supposed to be just a short video, but it's just as important as the other videos with multiple parameters or multiple return type values using tuples and so on. And so I just think this, for understanding how to write clean code, is a super important thing to understand. With that said, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and do all of the other social media things that you can possibly think about with this one video. And if you've got any questions or feedback or concerns or critiques about the tutorial, then please feel free to start a conversation in the comment section down below. With that said, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao, and goodbye.